Remember 2009? It was a year of change and new beginnings. The world was still reeling from the financial crisis of 2008, and people were looking for alternatives, new ways to think about money and value. We were all younger then, less wise perhaps. Also, Bitcoin was born. It was a time of innovation and curiosity. This new digital currency emerged from the shadows of the internet, promising a revolution. It was this weird, geeky thing that promised to upend the financial system. No more banks, power to the people. The Bitcoin white paper laid out a vision for a decentralized future, where financial transactions could be made without intermediaries. It was the digital equivalent of a guy in a Guy Fawkes mask shouting outside a shareholder meeting, a symbol of rebellion and a call for change. People were intrigued and some were skeptical, but the idea was too compelling to ignore. Early adopters were drawn to this anti-establishment vibe. They saw potential in this new technology, a way to break free from traditional financial systems. Meetups and conferences started to pop up, where enthusiasts could share ideas and strategies. They saw Bitcoin as a way to escape the clutches of big banks and governments. It was more than just a currency. It was a movement, a way to take control of their own financial destiny. It was like a digital treehouse, built high in the branches of the internet, where they could barter magic beans and swap conspiracy theories. A place where like-minded individuals could gather and dream of a different future, where they could barter magic beans and swap conspiracy theories. The forums were buzzing with excitement and speculation. People were experimenting with this new form of money, trading goods and services in a way that had never been done before. Of course, like any good treehouse, it didn't take long for someone to bring the snacks. And by snacks, I mean money. Lots of it. As more people got involved, the value of Bitcoin began to rise. And by snacks, I mean money. Lots of it. Investors started to take notice and the once niche community began to grow. Bitcoin was no longer just a hobby, it was becoming a serious investment. Bitcoin's price started to climb, and with it, the dreams of early adopters. What was once a digital experiment was now a financial phenomenon. The price graphs showed an upward trend that seemed unstoppable. And people who were once content to just hang out in the treehouse suddenly realized they could cash in their magic beans for actual, real-life money. The excitement was palpable. Bitcoin had proven itself, and the world was starting to take notice. The little cryptocurrency that had indeed done it. Fast forward to 2025. Bitcoin isn't some niche internet currency anymore, it's gone mainstream. And where does mainstream America hang out? That's right, the mall, the financial mall to be precise. Since early 2025, corporations have been on a Bitcoin buying spree, snapping up a whopping 157,000 BTC. That's more than all the Bitcoin held by individual investors and ETFs combined. It's like Walmart decided to buy every single Beanie Baby in existence. Suddenly, the cool kids' treehouse is overrun with middle managers in khakis. This isn't just a few companies dipping their toes in the water. We're talking major players like Strategy, Rumble, and River Financial, all betting big on Bitcoin. They're buying it up faster than you can say diversified portfolio. So what does this corporate gold rush mean for Bitcoin's original promise of decentralization? Remember, the whole point was to take power away from big institutions. Now those same institutions are buying their way in. It's like inviting the fire marshal to your arson party. One concern is accessibility. As corporations gobble up more Bitcoin, it could become increasingly difficult for everyday folks to get their hands on it. Imagine trying to buy a house when BlackRock is making cash offers on every property. Then there's the risk of market manipulation. With so much Bitcoin concentrated in the hands of a few powerful players, they could potentially influence its price. Remember the Hunt brothers trying to corner the silver market back in the 80s? Yeah, nobody wants a repeat of that except maybe the Hunt brothers. Let's meet some of the key players in this corporate Bitcoin bonanza, shall we? These are the movers and shakers who are making waves in the financial world with their bold Bitcoin strategies. First up, we have Strategy, a financial services giant that's been snapping up Bitcoin like it's going out of style. This company has been on a buying spree, accumulating Bitcoin at an unprecedented rate, making headlines and turning heads in the financial sector. Their CEO recently called it the future of finance, which is either a brilliant insight or something he scribbled on a cocktail napkin after one too many martinis. Regardless of how the idea came about, Strategy's aggressive approach has certainly put them at the forefront of the Bitcoin movement. Then there's Rumble, the video platform that's become a haven for, shall we say, alternative viewpoints. This platform has carved out a niche for itself by catering to voices that feel marginalized by mainstream media. They're all in on Bitcoin, seeing it as a way to protect themselves from censorship and financial pressure. By embracing Bitcoin, Rumble aims to create a financial ecosystem that aligns with their values of freedom and independence. It's a bit ironic, really, considering they're now part of the very system they claim to be fighting against. As they grow and attract more users, they find themselves navigating the same financial waters as the traditional institutions they critique. And let's not forget about River Financial, the Bitcoin-only financial services company. This company has built its entire business model around Bitcoin, offering a range of services tailored specifically for Bitcoin enthusiasts. They're like the cool kids who were into Bitcoin before it was cool, but now they're hanging out with the jocks and cheerleaders. River Financial has managed to maintain its edgy, innovative image while expanding its reach to a broader, more mainstream audience. They're still all about Bitcoin, but their customer base is starting to look a lot more buttoned down. As they continue to grow, River Financial is striking a balance between staying true to their roots and appealing to a wider demographic, proving that Bitcoin is no longer just a fringe interest, but a serious financial asset. Section 5. Bitcoin's price tag. What happens when suits call the shots? So, what does all this corporate interest mean for the price of Bitcoin? That's the million-dollar question, literally. Some analysts believe that increased institutional demand will send the price soaring to new heights. Others worry that it could create a bubble that's just waiting to burst. One thing's for sure, Bitcoin's price is going to be increasingly influenced by the whims of corporate boardrooms. Gone are the days when a few Reddit threads could send the price soaring or plummeting. Now it's all about earnings reports, shareholder meetings, and whatever Elon Musk had for breakfast. Section 6. Wall Street on the blockchain, Bitcoin's corporate makeover. The corporate embrace of Bitcoin isn't just about buying and holding. It's also about integrating it into the existing financial system. We're talking Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin IRAs, and maybe even Bitcoin-backed mortgages. Just imagine explaining that to your mortgage broker. This integration could make Bitcoin more accessible and user-friendly for the average person, but it also raises concerns about whether Bitcoin will lose its soul in the process. Will it become just another tool for Wall Street to make money? Will we all be forced to have a Bitcoin 401k? Only time will tell. Section 7. Is this the end of Bitcoin as we know it? So, is this the end of Bitcoin as we know it? The question looms large over the cryptocurrency community and beyond. Bitcoin, once the darling of tech enthusiasts and libertarians, now finds itself at a crossroads. Has the corporate world hijacked the revolution? The very essence of Bitcoin was to decentralize and democratize finance, but now it seems to be in the clutches of big corporations and institutional investors. It's tempting to say yes. The influx of corporate money and interest has undeniably changed the landscape. Bitcoin's price is now more influenced by Wall Street than by grassroots movements. After all, it's hard to imagine a more stark contrast than Bitcoin's early idealistic beginnings and its current corporate-dominated reality. The early days were filled with dreams of a new financial order, free from the control of traditional banks and governments. But maybe this is just the next chapter in Bitcoin's evolution. Every technology goes through phases of growth and change, and Bitcoin is no different. What started as a fringe movement has now entered the mainstream. Maybe this corporate interest is what's needed to take it from a niche technology to a truly global currency. The involvement of big players could bring the stability and legitimacy that Bitcoin needs to be accepted worldwide. Maybe those early adopters, holed up in their digital treehouse, were always destined to be overrun by the suits. The pioneers often paved the way, but it's the settlers who build the cities. The truth is, it's too early to say for sure. Bitcoin's journey is far from over, and its future is still unwritten. The market is volatile, and the forces at play are complex and ever-changing. This is a story that's still being written. Each day brings new developments, new challenges, and new opportunities. The narrative of Bitcoin is as dynamic as the technology itself. And like any good story, it's sure to have plenty of twists and turns along the way. Whether Bitcoin will emerge stronger or be overshadowed by new innovations remains to be seen. One thing is certain, the saga of Bitcoin is far from over. Section 8. Buckle up, Buttercup, the wild ride isn't over yet. One thing's for certain, the next few years are going to be interesting for Bitcoin. Will it become the dominant global currency its proponents believe it can be? Or will it go the way of Betamax and MySpace, a footnote in the history of technological innovation? Whatever happens, it's going to be a wild ride. So buckle up, Buttercup, and hold on tight. This is Bitcoin's new era, and it's just getting started.